I've been reading it.
Ready for the flag raising.
Howdy, how'd you get this?
Do you see it?
I'd have to turn my back.
Getting ready to make his marks.
Yeah.
So, as officials here on site, how do you feel about this project?
Oh, this is great. This is a great project for the American public.
I agree.
Volunteer spirit, put it
I agree.
together.
I agree. Thanks.
So we did the same thing. It was hardly visible.
Yeah, you have to know.
Real hard. He couldn't see it. I
Podium.
Are you a volunteer up here also? You are. I'm lost
You guys getting ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the drill?
Flag ceremony.
Gonna march over?
Yep. Yep.
Who's the senior scout here?
I'm the head one right now.
You are?
Yeah, because the other one's left already.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna organize this group, huh?
Sort of.
Sort of. You guys look cool.
Straight line, just like you were walking. Smile.
Come on, Judy. Forgot to go. I'm not sure where they are. Let me get my spare. They are delicious. So eat as much as you can.
That's what he you were looking at the trail. Oh, this is called a ramada.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Ramada.
Dad, what's that? I was see the I was the worst by the dog.
Will you all join together? Under God, indivisible, justice for all. Go. We join me in the first and last verses of America. Take note that only the good-looking people get to stand up here. I want to take just a few minutes and tell you folks how proud I am of this structure and what it takes to make it happen. The Mount Low Railway is an example of what our forefathers did to make these mountains available to the public. This work is an example of what some of our folks, our volunteers, are doing to make it available to the public. The heritage of this thing is immense, and we need to take advantage of it. And I want to thank those folks that have had a hand in building this thing. I know I've seen some pictures of some people hanging on rafters. It looked like they were hanging over the top of Pasadena. It's a good opportunity for me to say thanks not only to the volunteers who did this, who did the hotel site down below, do the trail maintenance, do all the other things that occur on the district, that we couldn't maintain this place without your help. So I want to thank the volunteers. I understand, as I look at the program, there'll be a lot of explanation about these buildings themselves, and I'll leave that to somebody else. I want you to know that I asked Brian Marcroft about what the next project was for the group this morning, and he said that they're going to take a couple months off, and then they're going to start rebuilding the railway. My sincere thanks to Brian and the folks that built this, to all the other volunteers that work on different projects around the forest and make this place a great place for the public to visit and keep the value of the Angeles National Forest to the United States. I'll be back. Thank you for now.
We have a little addition to the program. We're honored to have with us today Mr. Michael Rogers, the forest supervisor, and he's going to make a few remarks. As you know, there's a lot of remarks.
Program to get people connected with this great heritage that we have. And there were some special funding set up for that program. And this was one of the projects that the Arroyo Seco District presented, and it was selected. We had a number of them, and we got into an unfortunate budget problem. This one we had a commitment for. People that signed up said that they were willing to help take it on. We had a number of others, though, that got into the end of the year budget change from September 30th to October 1st. We were told we could carry that money over, and then lo and behold, when we got into our next fiscal year, they said, no, you lost the money. So there were a lot of projects that we had similar to this that never got off the drawing board. They were great ideas. Fortunately, because Terry and the Arroyo Seco District has a very good program.
Of our organization. He's been working at this all his life, basically, since he was a young kid, coming up here, looking at it, taking pictures of it, and he's finally getting to do what he always wanted to do, which is to rebuild it. So come on up, Brian, and tell him some history. Let's have a big hand for Brian.
Yeah. Well, the history is pretty much in your handout. I thought I'd talk about more recent history.
Mommy! Mommy!
project when I
Mommy?
forest that they had the money for this.
Mommy, no, I'm
I thought would
talking
never
to
happen.
Hold your hand up, Robert.
Robert?
He's hiding.
He's hiding. I told him
Having a
not to
cigarette.
hide. Anyway, Robert, as we were looking into how we were going to build this, we run across Robert, and he'd come up here in the 50s. And for some reason, Robert went underneath this roof and took a picture of the structure. And without that, we wouldn't have known what to do, for the most part. So he made the project a lot easier. Another thing, I'd like to thank the forest for their support and trust, and because they've trusted us an awful lot with a lot of the things we've done, and gave us a lot of freedom. And hope we haven't done anything get in trouble, but I know we had some times with hauling things up here, and we had some scary situations, but we got through it all. I guess another comment I've got is we've got a lot of people that volunteered here that's vehicles will never be the same. And so there's a lot of sacrifice otherwise. John had a brand new truck, and we ended up taking care of the paint job and a few other things, and tires, and you name it, we've been through it. But anyway, happy to see it done. There were days we wondered if we were ever going to finish it, but it was done. And I'll turn the time over to Paul again.
If Brian is the heart and soul of our organization, John Harrigan is the engine. There is nobody I have ever seen who has worked harder on any project that we have than John Harrigan. He works and works and works and works and works and works and works. And I can't say enough that between Brian and John, this is how this thing got done. And you don't know the effort that went into it in the July heat, working on that roof. It was unreal. And those guys got it done. And without anything further, I want to introduce John Harrigan. Let's give him a big hand.
Okay, as Brian said, we started in March of this year. Actually, we started probably a long time before then. It was, in fact, November of last year that we were taking some measurements to try to put together a set of drawings, and we realized one of the footings was something had to be wrong. Well, we figured out finally, Brian did with some calculations later on, that one of the footings was like 18 inches out of place. So we moved it. That's part of the abuse on my truck with a 10,000-pound chain fall. Truck almost over the edge of the cliff with some rocks under the wheels and a couple of bottle jacks. Brute force. It's probably, I think, within an 1/8 inch of where it should be. But as looking at my calendar and my log and what we did, it was like 13 trips over 10 different weekends. We probably averaged about 8 people a weekend. The second day up here, we had like 16 people to put all the big beams in place. So you put 16 people under it, and you can maybe grunt it up into place. Brian has down there in one of the signs that something like 1,021 hours, and that's just counting what we had here. I know I put in a bunch of time else down the hill, and so did Brian and some others.
Okay, we're almost done here, but we got another added attraction, and I want to bring Terry Ellis back up to the rostrum for another little deal.
It's getting old. You know, I tried before to tell you how much I appreciate the work that the volunteers in general do all over the district and all over the forest, and how much they help us get things done. I'd like to make a special honor of that. And I'd like to, Brian, would you come up here a minute, please? The comment before that Brian is the heart and soul of this organization, and the fact that Brian has done so many things for us, not just this, but others. Step right around. Step right around. Stand up high. Maybe I'll tell you to take your hat off. Well, you can look on the back of your program and see how many people have been involved with this. Brian and those folks certainly deserve our recognition. This is a plaque, and I'd like to read it to you in honor of Brian and John and Paul and all the folks. You can read their names in the program who helped with this. To Brian Markroff and the Friends of Mount Low for dedicated service in rehabilitating, rebuilding, and protecting the Mount Low Railroad and Echo Mountain facilities. And I just, there's not words for me to express the thanks I have to all of you folks, and especially to Brian, for the things you've done for the Angeles National Forest.
I've got something for Terry.
Do I leave now?
So you've probably seen these on the table. Just 2 photographs of the structures here for Terry, and I imagine I can get some more from Mike Rogers if he wants some.
We'll display them with pride. Thank you, sir. Thank you not only for these, but for your help.
Yeah. You want to say something else? He's gonna do some acknowledgments here.
Yeah. Chuck Shamblin, he's standing over here. Raise your hand, Chuck. Years ago, Chuck was involved in the very first signs that were placed up here in the 70s. And Chuck's always been a supporter of improvements here at Mount Low. We'd also like to recognize, and he's not here today, Kevin Johnson of the LA County Fire Department. He drew up these plans for this for us. And he took the old photographs and the measurements that we got off the foundation, and he drew the plans for us. And without him, I don't know, may not have gotten built. But so we had a lot of help. And Kevin was worked under Paul Rippon. And what's his title, Jim?
I guess he's retired county forester and
Los Angeles County Fire Department Chief Forester.
Forester, yeah. And Paul Rippon was the one that Kevin worked under him, and he got a hold of Kevin and arranged for the plans to be drawn up for this. So they put an awful lot of work into this, you know, down off the mountain. So we'd like to recognize them.
Thank you all for coming here today. If any of you are interested in getting on a mailing list or being a volunteer, there's sign-up sheets over by the t-shirts, and we'd love to have you come. Anybody who wants to come with our group, we don't make you work. You can just come, or you can work, and look, do whatever you like. And yeah.
Can we find out how many people are living?
We always do this, Silky. At the end of every one of our Mount Low events, we always ask if there's any survivors, people who have ridden the railway in the crowd today. Could you raise your hands? There's Silky. There's one in the back up there.
Virginia, where's Virginia?
There's Virginia. And I want to give a big round of applause to the people who have ridden the railway, who are with us today. Silky wants to say something, and if Silky wants to say something, he'll say it. Turn around.
You are standing in a special place in history, because this may never happen again. There's just a little remnant of it's left. You're looking to the future and what this meant in the past and what it could mean as they build it up. We rode on it, and so right now, you probably will never have the opportunity again unless we have another celebration, but they don't come very often. And we want you to know, from us who rode the railway, I was 11, 1925. My mom brought me up here, and I was 11 years old. I'm 82 now. But at any rate, we turn it over to all you wonderful people to keep this going. This is a wonderful thing, and we thank all these gentlemen for their work and all. Thank you very much.
That ends our formal program, and this is the dedication in the immortal words of William Mulholland. There it is. Take it. See you later.